This week on It's Too Wordy, I'm proud to be an American. Welcome everybody to this week's episode of the It's Too Wordy comic book podcast. The podcast where three buddies discuss comics from their childhood and today. I'm Kirk.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Nick.
How you guys doing?
Awesome.
Good.
Even though you had to read Uncle Sam?
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. Sorry. We'll find something more fun next time.
They all can't be winners.
Nope. Alright, this week we are going to discuss Sea of Stars #1 by Image Comics. And then the aforementioned Uncle Sam. So let's get started with Uncle Sam. Take it away.
Yay! So, Uncle Sam is by Steve Darnell and Alex Ross, and it came out 1997. And it's a story where you don't quite know if this guy who's dressed up like Uncle Sam is the real Uncle Sam or if he's just a delusional homeless man.
Schizophrenic?
Yeah. Who only talks in historical quotes. It's a beautiful book, but it is super depressing when you read something from almost 21 years ago.
And we haven't changed?
We haven't changed, and we thought it was bad back then.
Yep.
And when you realize and you read stuff from back then that is political, nothing's changed. No matter who's in the presidency, nothing's different.
It's always a crook.
The only thing that's different is our gas prices.
Yep.
Barely. Except for that one summer in 94 where it was 97 cents or 87 cents.
Oh, the good old days.
That was awesome.
That was awesome.
It's a good time to have a V8 Mustang at the time.
Yeah.
Now?
I guess that's why you don't see very many muscle cars on the road anymore.
Nope.
I was thinking about that the other day. When we were in high school, it was like everybody had to have a muscle car.
Yep. Now?
Now, nope.
I got a sweet Prius.
Yep.
This book goes through every horrible thing that the American government has ever done.
My favorite is the 400 treaties with the Indians that we broke.
Yep. And then seeing when they roll into Illinois and they massacre the Black Hawk Indians.
Yeah.
And there's one that's like, you broke everything. You took our land, you killed all my people, and then they just kill their chief.
Yeah. They only kept one promise, and that was to take their land.
Yep. It's hard to read some of this stuff.
I tried reading it 4 times.
Like there's a horrible lynching scene, there's a horrible rape scene, there's a horrible just anything that we have done in the last 200 years.
Yep.
Is in this book. And it's like, I don't see anything different now.
Nope.
Hey, Iran, guess what? You get shit.
Yep.
Hey, Cuba, guess what? We opened the borders. Now we're going to fucking close them again.
Iran, we stole all your money back in the 80s. Here's your money back. Oh, we're giving money to terrorism.
The second book is actually a little bit more interesting when he starts seeing Colombia and he starts seeing the spirit of Britain, and then he sees the spirit of Russia.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like the spirit of Britain is like, you watched us fall, now we can watch you fall.
Yep.
Your empire is going to fall pretty soon.
It's coming.
Russia's like, I'm just a cuddly bear. What? You don't look like a giant, horrible army. So I think what you can get out of this is that the American dream is dying, but it's up to us to bring it back.
Yep.
We got to stop believing everything we see on TV, believing everything that a politician tells us that they're going to do. Start actually paying attention and start being an activist in stuff.
We need to put our country first before any political affiliation.
Right.
Is what needs to happen. Even in government, the people we elect need to start being that way.
Yeah, I think the funniest part was when he's at the rally and he's hearing the politician talk, but he's not listening to that. He's listening to the lies that he's saying.
Yep.
And there's a guy dressed like Uncle Sam on the podium, and he just attacks him.
Yep.
He goes straight up, knocks him
Yep.
over. He's like, liar!
I got a hemorrhage in my head.
Like I said, it's a beautiful book, and it's worth reading once. I read it back in 97, and it's still the same.
Yeah.
Still a very heavy book.
We have not learned anything.
Yeah, it's a difficult read, mainly because it's hitting home.
Yep.
Yeah.
We all have kids now. Back then we didn't have kids.
Nope.
So now
That was my first time reading it, so
Yeah, so now we're thinking it of
Yeah.
it as what are we leaving for Piper, your kids,
Right.
Sophie? What are we leaving? A big pile of shit.
And then at the end, there's a big fight between the old American dream and the current American dream.
Yep.
And it's just like...
It's all corporations
Yep.
making money.
Yep. It's... All right, let's move on.
All right.
Because...
What do we rate it?
I'm going to give it a 2 just because of the artwork.
I think it's a 4 for me, for the fact that they did so much research into the American history, and it's beautiful. And it makes you feel like not like a lot of books now.
Maybe that's why it was so hard for me to read, because I'm like, oh my god.
Right.
What have we done? So yeah, okay, I'll bring it up to a 3.5.
Okay, 3. Ryan?
I think it, I'm going to go 3. It was a difficult read, but it is absolutely beautiful. Probably more accurate than a lot of the history books that are being used in schools now.
Yeah.
It is definitely worth a read.
Yeah.
Just know that you're not going to feel great after you're done with it.
It's not a happy tale.
No.
Yeah, it didn't make me feel good at all reading this book.
All right, let's move on.
All right, so the next book we have is Sea of Stars by Image.
Can we really call it a book? It took me 3 minutes to read. Maybe not even 3 minutes to read this book.
It qualifies as a
Comic.
book. It took me 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is by Jason Aaron and Dennis Hallam. First issue of an Image book, Sea of Stars. And the premise is there is a space truck driver
For the UPS.
and he's doing a long haul, so he decides to take his kid with him. His mom's not around. He didn't want to ask anybody to watch his kid for
a week.
Yeah. And so it's kind of showing the relationship between him and the dad a little bit. And the kid's bored out of his mind. So if anybody's ever taken a road trip with a kid, this is what I pictured the whole time. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
I could have
When
stayed
can I
at
have
home
some
and
candy?
took care of myself.
Well, they're hauling stuff from a history museum, and the kid goes down into the hall and starts digging around, and he has a spacesuit on because things fluctuate back there as far as oxygen levels and things like that. In the meantime, the dad truck driver is seeing something on the radar and thinks it's another big rig of some sort, space big rig, and it turns out to be what appears like a gigantic space whale
That's what I thought too, yeah.
with huge teeth. And he snaps, the space whale snaps into this truck, or this spaceship. The kid goes flying out of the hole that gets ripped up. And the dad's chasing down, trying to get to the kid. He's setting up the guns on the vehicle to start firing at the space whale. He ends up poking him. I think it's poking the space whale in the eye. Is that right?
Right.
Okay.
It's a funny scene when you're like, damn, that thing is huge.
Yeah.
When he's like little speck on that dude's eye.
I like when the kid goes, holy balls!
Well, the kid grabs something that's in this historic hull that they're carrying. The second he grabs it, this big light flashes off like almost a laser type thing, and it appears it takes out the whale. And the kid ends up landing on a asteroid where there happen to be two creatures there, where one of them wants to eat him, which I thought was hilarious, not being in a morbid sense, but just, can we eat him yet? Can we eat him now?
Of course, it's the monkey-looking one that wants to eat it.
Ah, star farts, it's alive.
It's star farts. It's alive.
I don't know, a smaller whale-looking like creature, I guess. Find out that the kid is still alive. He's got a hole in his spacesuit, so they're like, he shouldn't be alive. The spacesuit's saying that it's malfunctioning, yet he's still good. I mean, he's missing a pant leg, he's missing an arm sleeve.
And he can understand what they're saying.
Yeah, he can understand their language.
And they can understand him.
And he starts swimming in space.
I'm swimming in
And
space.
the miniature whale and the space monkey are tagging along with him. In the meantime, you can see that the dad's still alive, and all he wants to do is get to his kids, or his kid, and he lands on a asteroid, and it closes out with a bunch of rock-like creatures coming at him. And he says, just stay alive out there, Caden. One way or another, Dad's still coming. So, I don't know. I kind of dug it.
I liked it.
I liked it too.
it was basically a sea adventure in space.
Yep.
You can tell by the creatures. I thought the art was really good. It was a pretty quick read, like Nick was pointing out.
Yeah.
But, I mean, my expectations on that, unless it's written by Morrison or Gammon, it's going to be a quick read anymore.
Yeah. I mean, it's all big panels now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
no thought bubbles anymore. Thanks, guys.
No, thanks. No inner dialogue.
To a point, I'm okay with that. To a certain point. I think it's needed every once in a while, but back in the 80s when that was the huge thing, or the 70s, it was a little overbearing. But, I enjoyed it. I'll probably pick up the second issue and see what happens. See if Jason Aaron can get me hooked like he normally does. So what do you guys rate this one?
So I paid $1 a minute to read it. I'm going to give it $1 or a star per minute it took me to read this. So I'm going to give it a 4 because I'm really interested in what happens with it.
Yeah.
But if this ends up being like a Redwall book, I'm going to be super pissed. Like, I hate Redwall books where every animal has to talk and he's always a buddy. Like, there's a squirrel and it's talking to me. Like, God damn it. There was a sweet book that was
That's not
out.
normal.
Yeah.
Squirrels talk to me.
No.
Every day, man. Every day.
There was a book about the Flying Dutchman, and the first half of it was just him and a dog on the Flying Dutchman, and then it gets destroyed in the middle. And then the dog starts talking to him after they get off. And I'm like, who wrote... Oh, God damn it. And it was the guy who wrote all the Redwall books. And I was just like, you couldn't leave it alone, could you? You just couldn't leave it alone.
I'm going to give it a 4. The artwork was awesome. The story was awesome. I want to know what the kid's powers are. What's up with this kid? I want to find out.
I really think it has to do with that artifact.
Think so?
Yeah, because he was a normal kid until he grabbed that thing, and all of a sudden, and it was on the side that he touched the artifact on that is exposed to space and everything. So I'm kind of thinking, maybe. I'm going to go 4.5 actually. I think. Yeah. It usually Aftershock books. Surprise, surprise. Grab me and pull me in like this.
This is an Image book.
Yeah, it is Image book, but that's what I'm saying is I don't see it a lot.
My Aftershock all the time.
I don't see it a lot outside of Aftershock.
Are you working for Aftershock?
Again, this is Ryan, and if Aftershock would like to send me some free promos, but no, absolutely, it was enjoyable. Jason Aaron usually has a good story in his head when he's writing this stuff. I think we've all seen it with different things. He made Thor cool again.
He made Ghost Rider cool again.
Yeah, a lot of stuff he touches is really, really good.
He made the Orb cool again for a little while.
Well, what's the series Scalped? He did that series Scalped, which is absolutely amazing. He did a Vietnam book that was phenomenal. I always try out his stuff, and I think this one is a hit for me, at least for the first issue.
Okay.
I'm kind of glad it's a space book that doesn't deal with an alien giving somebody powers. We don't know that yet, but it could be.
Could be.
But at least he didn't land on Earth and get blown up on a spaceship and then get a ring or an amulet or a helmet.
That's kind of original, is what you're saying?
Right.
Kind of?
Kind of.
He's going to be given the powers on a different planet like Tomare.
Okay.
We've got a new segment. Ryan, what is the segment going to be about?
One of the thoughts we had was talk about a character or somebody that's associated with one of the characters that we read about in our main stories, and then kind of giving you a background on it, mainly like C/D list characters, possibly Z list characters. There are plenty of those out there. And so today we decided on the human bomb who is associated with Uncle Sam and the Freedom Force. Freedom Fighters, okay. And there is a number of human bombs. The one we went with was Roy Lincoln, appropriately enough for Uncle Sam.
Yep.
His powers, anything he touches will explode. He doesn't appear to have much control over the power, so he can't turn it off and on. He can adjust the strength of the explosion. He's invulnerable to anybody that's stronger than him or move faster than him or the speed of the explosion. His first appearance was Police Comics, 1941, number 1. And he has been fairly active comic books up until, it looks like we have 2010 was the most recent, 2011. So 2011, recent appearance. But, I mean, from 1941 to 2011, that's pretty impressive.
It's pretty good.
Now, I got all that information off of Comic Book DB to cite the source there. Interesting character. Something to maybe check out. If you're curious about what books he may be in, Again, go to Comic Book DB. It lists all of them. He's like an all-star squadron. He made an appearance in Blackest Night, Blue Beetle, a lot of the Freedom Fighters. He made an appearance in Green Lantern. Did not remember that.
I'm sure it was a very important book that he was in.
I'm looking now. Oh, it's a prequel to Tales of the Black. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so he was involved in the Blackest Night, like we mentioned there. So, interesting character. Check him out.
Aren't you glad we didn't do, like, Phantom Lady? That's a lot of history.
That is. But the Phantom Lady I think of is they did back in 2005, I think, they did the National Comics, and there's one-shots.
Mm-hmm.
And all of them were phenomenal, and Phantom Lady was involved in that.
Yeah.
And I was so disappointed they were just one-shots.
Was it the blue uniform one, or was it the yellow one with the...
Yellow.
Yellow? Yeah. The Silk Spectre one?
Yeah. Very, very similar to that look.
Yeah.
All right, so next up we got Random Reads.
Yep. I will go first. So I'm going to continue my run through 90s Image with Bloodstrike #1.
Excellent book.
By Rob Liefeld. They don't introduce who the characters are, just I had to go back and read like really careful what the names of the characters were. You know, like X-Force, it would at least tell you it's Cable, Sunspot, Cannonball.
I believe in one of the Brigade books it kind of introduces them.
You start out, they're trying to climb this mountain because they're on a job to take something out. And they get up the mountain and they come in contact with the group.
We need to put like a little thing up here for like reading.
Yeah,
You
we
know?
do. Something.
Like those things that for typewriters.
Yeah, I think that'd be a
What's
good
a
idea.
typewriter?
Sorry.
Good idea to have like something like right here so I can just like flip through and...
You know, like it was on top of your old word processor.
Anyway.
Nick, edit here.
God! Get out! Nobody has said that since he said he was going to kill our characters off.
I don't have one.
So this group that they're trying to take out is called... Is it Gate? G.A.T.
I read it as Gate, yes.
And they encounter all these thugs, like, what do you call them? Henchmen? They're like cannon fodder.
Stormtroopers.
There you go. And they blow through every single one of them with ease. And there's this guy named Commander Corbin. He's like the baddie. And he confronts them, and they bring in this character named Shogun. And they try to take Corbin out, but for some reason they're not successful. So they take out some more henchmen, and Corbin disappears. And they go up to the surface, and you meet
Wolverine. I'm sorry.
Hold on. I'm just telling the story at the moment, okay?
I already see where this is going.
Okay. Deadlock and Foreplay are up on the surface fighting them, and they take out some more cannon fodder, okay? And Corbin reappears and says, "Ha ha! It was me who hired you for this mission because Gate was going to terminate me, and I needed to make it to where I was needed and valuable." And they blow him away. They shoot him in the head. And then they move on to the next mission, and it's to take on Brigade. Okay?
Now, the Bloodstone from Brigade and is it Cabot?
Cabot, yeah.
Are brothers, and they don't see eye to eye.
Okay.
Just for some clarification there. That's
Okay.
where the tie-ins.
I like this book. Okay?
It had blood on the cover. How could you not?
It does have
Yeah,
blood on
what
the
does
cover.
it say on the Image logo?
Rub the blood. I don't want to rub the blood.
It's one of those heat sense,
Oh,
like the old
okay.
T-shirts from the 90s that were a fad for like 3 minutes.
Like the hypercolor stuff.
Yeah.
So,
So if you rubbed the blood, it got bright red, and it didn't survive well beyond that. But it was one of those cool covers where you're like, oh, rub the blood.
Okay. I have a serious nitpick with Mr. Liefeld. This is the third book by Liefeld that I've read, and I can't keep track of the fucking characters. They all look the same, just a little different variations on, and I'm like, can this guy not come up with... He had one original thought, and that was Shogun, the big motherfucker right there.
that's a Micronaut.
I don't care. I'd never seen one before. I was happy that...
I always thought it was more of like Iron Man meets Juggernaut type deal.
So you've got
I I see it as what is it? Archon.
Yeah, Archon.
Okay, so Cabot looks like Cable.
Yep.
With long hair.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got
Foreplay,
fucking goddamn forearm, but female.
Yep.
And then you got a guy who, I don't know how this didn't happen, but looks exactly like fucking Wolverine from like the chin up.
So she's not Spiral?
No.
Really? Does she have swords?
She could.
Does she spin in circles?
I don't know.
Well,
We'll find out.
Read number 2.
Do you want the answer?
I'm going
yes,
to.
Right?
Yes. Yes. She does wield
she
swords.
Has swords.
Yes!
Jesus Christ.
Yes!
I don't remember what issue, but I remember having swords.
Then the blonde-haired girl looks like fucking Boom Boom. She's drawn with Boom Boom, but has a little bit longer hair than Boom Boom, and some weird-looking fucking eyes. Are those goggles, glasses, or did she get some kind of lab experiment fucking gone wrong?
Oh, I want to answer so many of these questions.
That being said, I recommend it.
I give it a 5.
I don't give it a 5. There's no way in hell this is a 5.
There are drastic changes to the team about issue 5.
I'm just tired of everything that I see from Liefeld looking like a fucking New Mutants book.
But
so
I don't remember a New Mutants book having rubbed the blood.
No. Okay. With that one serious nitpick, I'm going to give it a 3. I'm going to read more, but I'm just going to say that
Ryan's enthusiastically shaking his head, yes.
he is.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah.
You have to, man. Come on, man. You got to jump on the Bloodstrike Brigade with me.
Oh, the Bloodstrike Brigade.
Oh! Yeah, I give it a 3. I got to find another Image book now, because I got to... Have we done Youngblood yet?
No.
We have not done Youngblood. Okay.
Nope.
So good luck finding issue 2, Shadowhawk's first appearance.
Probably hard.
Yeah, it is. Because of Shadowhawk.
Yeah. Thanks, Shadowhawk.
Bloodstrike or Youngblood?
Youngblood.
I don't even have issue number 1. I have issue 0. So
You can find it.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy.
all right. Who wants to go next?
I'll go. All right, so I finally finished Hercules Prince of Power this weekend. Let me just say, this is everything that 80s Marvel was good about, or was good about 80s Marvel. It's funny, it's action, it's goofy crap all over the place.
I'm going to say I don't care about Hercules, but this weekend Nick's like making me want to read this Hercules book.
This will make you a huge Hercules fan. So Hercules returns from his trials, and he goes back to Mount Olympus, and he wants to party. He's like, oh, I'm an arrogant bastard, and I just want to party. But it's a day of silence, and he's causing a ruckus. He's like hanging out with chicks, and he's drinking, and Zeus comes along, and he's like, no, I'm sending you, just like Odin did to Thor, I'm banishing you until you learn humility. He's like, I'm not sending you to Earth so you can be a effing god like Odin did. You're going to space, where you're a speck. And so Apollo gives him a golden chariot with 2 horses. And he's like, thanks, you know? He doesn't ask any questions about what to feed the horses. So everywhere he lands, the horses eat somebody. Right? The horses are just, they will devour anything that gets in their way, that like tries to lead them anywhere.
So they're Galactus horses?
They're just bastards. Somebody tries to steal the chariot, and they're like, what's that noise? They're like trying to break open the door, and there's this just giant horse head breathing fire. So the second issue, he meets the Rigelians, and the Rigelians give him a recorder unit. And a recorder unit is a robot that can record anything within a certain diameter of him. Right? And it's his job to go out and catalog everything that Hercules does. The planets he visits, the people he talks to, what he's doing. And he has a sense of humor, which is pretty much 80s Marvel, because everybody has a sense of humor in this.
Yeah, everybody was a shit talker in the 80s.
So Hercules makes another mistake, and he's betting somebody that his chariot can beat their spacecraft. And these guys cheat, and they have an afterburner on there, and he loses 10,000 credits. So he has to make up 10,000. So he sees a reward poster for this princess, right? He's like, I'll save the princess from these pirates for 10,000 credits. He gets the princess. She falls in love with him. They have sex. He brings her back to her supposed husband, and he fights him. But the guy's like, no, actually, she's my wife. Really, we actually care for each other. They actually are still married, and Hercules had sex with somebody's wife, right? So there's another bit of his ego. All right, so issue 3, he goes to another planet called Seagram 7, right? So
Nice.
it's a distiller's planet,
Nice.
and they make the best alcohol in the entire universe, right? And they make one kind that is the most potent stuff ever that will knock Hercules on his ass. If he drinks like more than a drop in water, it'll just knock him out. So there's a group of people that come along and they're stealing planets from the system. And Hercules goes and he confronts them and they commit suicide. Just wipe themselves out because they failed and now they're all dead. Right? So they were like, we'll just kill ourselves now before whatever we're taking this planet to kills us. In comes Galactus. So these people, we find out that their planet was destroyed. They're going around taking planets to feed Galactus once every year. That planet that Galactus was looking for isn't there, so he sends Nova, Frankie Ray, to that planet. She decides that planet's worthy to be destroyed. She sends the thing up. Hercules smashes her in the face and is like, no, this planet's protected. And she's like, blah, 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 speech, Galactus is coming, blah, blah. Hercules says, I am Hercules, the Prince of Power. And she's like, Hercules? Can we go talk somewhere? You're from Earth, right? So apparently Frankie's been without sex for a long time. She has sex with Hercules. And apparently it's really good because she's out.
She's in a coma.
She's out, right? So he tired out a Herald of Galactus, which is pretty funny. So Galactus is trying to reach her on the radio, and she's not answering, or her summons, and she's not answering. And Hercules just decides he's going to go up to Galactus's ship, try to talk her, or try to convince, in his own way, for Galactus to stop. So this is awesome. So Hercules, I'm prideful. I'm going to punch Galactus in the chest. Galactus just is like, he just kind of like wipes him off. And he's like, I'm only going to humor you because you're an immortal and I'm an immortal. Get out. Right? I'm going to do what I'm doing. And then Hercules is like, wait a minute, I have an idea. How about we just sit down, we have a drink, and we talk about this?
See where it's going.
Yep. So Hercules has the recorder go and try to do something to distract the ship, right? While he talks to Galactus. So he puts the Mickey in Galactus's drink. Galactus takes his helmet off, sits in a chair, crosses his leg, and they have a discussion, right? And he's like, oh yeah, I know what you did to my drink. It's not going to work, And he's like, you know what? You're the actually only person that's ever really sat down and talked to me. I'm going to spare this planet now. I'm going to leave.
Wow.
It's kind of a letdown after I was really expecting the drink.
The drink to work?
Yeah.
That's what we were all expecting, but... And then he gets a giant bill from the Rigelians because they were using their credit for everything that they did. So Hercules got 3 new outfits, and like the recorder kept having to like have parts repaired, and it was a pretty funny book. I liked it.
Awesome.
It's definitely 80s goofy Marvel. That's why I love Marvel Comics, because of this kind of book.
What do you rate it?
This is a 5.
It's a 5?
I never read it before, and it just brought back everything that was great about that time of Marvel.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. I'll add that to my list to read. Oh my god. He looks like the Mandarin.
Yeah, you get to see Galactus without his helmet on.
Wow. All right. Yeah, I'm interested in that one too.
Yeah, and then he bangs Frankie Ray again at the end.
Well, all right.
All right. So I got a few here. I picked up Warlord of Mars Attacks.
Yes. Nice.
Because I'm like, you know what? I could use a good space adventure. That Sea of Stars kind of got me interested in reading some space stuff because for whatever reason, Green Lantern's not doing a whole lot on space right now. So, read Warlord of Mars Attacks by Jeff Parker. The first half of this, I'm like, okay, I can get into this. John Carter. Yeah, Carter. John Carter is trying to fight off all these Mars Attacks aliens, and he takes over one of their spaceships and knocks them all out. And good time had by all. And he contacts, I'm going to say her name wrong, Deja Thoris, and says, hey, I'm on my way back. She's like, yeah, we're surrounded. Just go home. We're going to, go back to your home planet. We're going to blow up all these spaceships. I wish you could have taken the kid with you. And the next thing you know is we're on Earth. And they're in like NASA or something where they're watching a space shuttle land on a satellite or something, land on Mars. And they're watching it happen, and the news is there, and they're all excited about it, and they're trying to interview people, and there's a guy sitting there watching what's going on, and he's smoking a cigar, eating Doritos, and they're like, what are you doing here? And that was a prize for this one individual. This one individual won a prize to be able to sit down and watch the Mars landing. And it was this guy's roommate. He didn't want to go, so he gave the ticket to the roommate. And so you get a little bit of humor there, thankfully. And all of a sudden, the satellite or the rover or whatever picks up the Mars attacks aliens, and they shoot the rover.
Meh. Meh meh.
A lot of that in this book.
Meh 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 meh.
And then all of a sudden, across the world, places are getting blown up by the UFOs from these Mars attacks. And so the guy that's not supposed to be there is like, I told my mom to go to the bomb shelter. She's got a bomb shelter. He grabs one of the scientists and goes, why don't you come with me? And then they see another scientist, like the head scientist, running along, and they're like, here, jump in. He jumps in the car. The head scientist pulls a gun on him and says, no, we are going to Arizona. Pretty sure they're going to, and they're showing this cave where there's a body laying underneath the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it ends for issue 1.
Okay.
So the actual part where they're on Mars, John Carter's on Mars, really cool. I'm like, okay, I can get into this. And then they go to Earth, and I'm like, why? Why? I was disappointed.
Okay. So the body that's in the Arizona.
Yeah.
All right. So after the Civil War, John Carter fought for the South. He decides he wants to retire and go to Arizona and be a miner, right? He finds a cave that, while he's being attacked by Indians, he finds a cave, goes in, passes out. And then he wakes up on Mars.
The cave is a portal.
It's very Adam Strange.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Right. So that's John Carter in that cave 120 years later.
Okay. I've had no experience with any of these characters, so I'm like, oh, I'm going to give it a shot.
Yeah.
I just got excited because it's like Mars Attacks versus Warlord of Mars. Okay, let's do this. Yeah, I'd say it's a 2.
Yeah.
Nothing to get excited about. I also read a book called Space Bandits by Mark Millar. There was like 6 covers for this. All of them were $3.99 except for the Howard Chaykin one, which was 75 cents. I'm like, for 75 cents, I will try this book out. For $3.99, I will not.
Tell us how you really feel.
How do you feel about the cover? Since you love Howard Chaykin so much.
It's on the book.
Okay, yeah.
Now, Howard Chaykin does have his moments. I just haven't seen any. But when you actually get into the book, the artist is Matteo Scalera, and the art's not bad. It's not the best I've ever seen, but it's not bad. Chaykin just did a cover. And it's the story of, well, one of them is, so there's 2 women involved in this. The first half of it's going over the first woman, who happens to be a pirate. And her idea was to get the best of the best from other space pirates and have them all join into a crew, and they go rob these places and make lots of money. Now, I love the 80s references in this because the first spaceship you see is called the Lionel Richie, and it looks like Lionel Richie's head on the spaceship. And it is like a honeymoon anniversary kind of ship. And she's sitting there talking to a couple, and they're like, oh, we want you to join us for dinner. And she's like, yeah, I'd love to. That's not going to happen, though. My pet lizard is going into the exhaust fans right now and putting sleeping gas into the fans as she puts a mask on and knocks them all out. They go around and rob everybody. The pirates show up and they go around robbing everybody, except for the old couple because it's their 600-year anniversary. They go back to do a split on another ship, and the crew turns against her and says, yeah, we scored a lot, but we want another $5 million each, so we're taking you out. And they basically shot her and left her. Well, they knocked her unconscious, I guess, and then blew her out of a space hatch. Shooting would have been easier. And then it jumps to a different story where a guy is bringing in a woman under a bounty to receive the bounty for her criminal activities. And the police are like, okay, we already know that you escaped from all these prisons, so we're going to keep a close eye on you. And the guy that brought her in, come to find out, is her boyfriend, and it's a scam they're pulling on all these cops. He collects the money from the bounty and then goes in and rescues her, and they escape. She's like, I'm ready to settle down. And he's like, yeah, me too. Well, let's do one more scam and then we'll quit. She's like, great. So they go in and they hand her over again, and she's waiting and finds out that the boyfriend really didn't want to spend the rest of his life with her. He wanted to keep on going with the scams, so he just left her in prison to rot. So it ends where both of those, the gal that got blown into space, who somehow survives, and the gal with the bounty, meet in prison. I love this. I thought this was fantastic. This is the best 75 cents I've ever spent. I would actually tell you at this point I would pay $4 for it, but going into it I'm like, not so much. The prison is the crustacean. It is 100-mile Senate worshipped as a god, now dead, and being mined by thousands of universe's most dangerous prisoners. It's a gigantic lobster in space.
Nice.
This was fantastic. Can't recommend it enough. I'm going to say 4.5. I'm giving it half a point off because the 75-cent cover was Howard Chaykin. All right. And then Stumptown. You guys heard of Stumptown by Rucka? Greg Rucka?
Nope.
You will hear about it because it's coming to a television show near you.
Oh, yeah. Got it. Yep.
With the gal that played Colby Smulders or whatever her name is going to be playing Dex. I absolutely love Stumptown. It's about a detective named Dex who's got an autistic brother, and she's a private investigator, and she gets hired. And it's never like any Magnum PI cases. It's kind of more like in this particular trade that I got, this was number 4. She was hired to deliver beans that are crapped out by a special cat for coffee. And they have the barista mafia involved in it, and a really rich guy that thinks he can get anything he wants. And you meet the sister, and it's a fun detective story. There's a lot of humor in these. There's some serious notes to it as well. Greg Rucka does a fantastic job when it comes to like those detective type books. I think he did The Question for a little bit. He did some of the Batman stuff, and if you ever read any of his stuff, it's always kind of got that detective hint to it. I absolutely love Stumptown. I cannot recommend it enough. It is coming to a television show in the fall on ABC. I don't know the last time I've been this excited about watching a television show. So there's that. I recommend this 5.
Well,
Wow. Okay.
The final thing I read I didn't bring, but it is The Dreaming, the new series from DC. And I got the trade of that. It was something I was kind of interested in. It was based off of Neil Gaiman stuff, and The Dreaming kind of tied in the 4 books that came out at the 3 other books that came out. So it was The Dreaming, Books of Magic, House of Whispers, and Lucifer. They're all under that Vertigo DC title. And so The Dreaming actually kind of tied all those books together because it was the first one out of it. I'm having a very hard time reading it. There's not a lot of characters that you're really interested in. And the guy that runs The Dreaming has disappeared, and they're trying to bring him back. It's not the first time it's happened. But I did think it was kind of cool where like they crossed over, and a crow from The Dreaming is trying to get into the real world, and he runs across Tim Hunter and wakes up as Tim Hunter in his mind and sees what's going on. So you kind of see the other side of what's actually happening because in Books of Magic, you see one thing happening, and this was from a different side because the crows can see different things. It's really interesting, but it is really challenging to read just because there's not a lot of characters there that you're like, I care, because they all feel like they're sidekicks, I guess. So I'm still trying to push through that and finish that up, but so far, I'd say it's probably a 2.5 for me.
yeah. Well, yeah, The Dreaming's always been like that, though.
Yeah.
I mean, the core books themselves, and when they put them all together, it was just kind of like, I don't really care anymore. I like Sandman. I like Constantine. I liked.
I love Constantine. I've always had a problem with like the Sandman universe. I don't know why. It's just so out there, maybe, that I don't want to think that hard reading a comic.
Right. And I don't know. Should I be the only person in the world that doesn't really care for Neil Gaiman comics?
No, I loved Books of Magic, the first one he was involved with, but him as a whole, I've not been overly crazy about a lot of stuff that he writes.
I've read Sandman, and Sandman Mystery Theater was 8,000 times better. Maybe it was just because it was a human who was doing the work of Dream.
See, and maybe that's what I need to check out then, because Everybody keeps telling me Sandman, read Sandman, read Sandman. I'm like, okay, I don't understand how any of it works, but now that I have a kind of a point to look at, opposed to trying to go back and read hundreds of issues of Sandman, which would put me to sleep.
So Sandman Mystery Theater is just Wesley Dodds as the 1940s Sandman. He gets nightmares from Dream or from Morpheus that tells him like just images of a crime. And it's a mystery that he has to put together in his head and go solve. And if he doesn't solve that crime, he goes nuts. He goes a little bit more crazy.
Ooh.
So by the end of the series, which is like 76 issues, 72 issues, he's insane. So it's a slow descent into madness.
Okay,
through the
I'm
whole
gonna have
book.
to read that one.
That
Sounds fantastic. I'm in.
Next, we're going to do our top. It's the It's Too Wordy top 10 list, and this week's top 10 is villains. I will go first. Okay.
No.
Fine.
Sure, go ahead.
God.
Should we do our Castoffs too? No.
It's your show, right?
I have 2 pages. That's why my mic's up so high.
Your mic was up higher than everybody else's.
Mine.
I've only got 3 Castoffs.
Oh, really?
I'm okay with doing the Castoffs
Okay.
for me.
All right. Number 10 was Sinestro. Number 9 was Mandarin. Number 8, the Sentinels. 7, Green Goblin. 6, Doc Ock. 5, Doctor Doom. 4, Shredder. 3, Galactus. 2, Magneto. And 1, Apocalypse.
X-Men villain. Typical.
Hey, I tried to throw some non-X-Men villains in there too.
Shredder. Very nice.
Yeah,
I actually had him as an honorable mention.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing Green Goblin in no X-Men comic book. Or Doc Ock.
Yeah. We'll find one.
Yeah, okay.
We'll find some.
All
right, so mine, I tried not to go all hoity-toity with, because I was going to do that. It's like,
he was going to go all deep hipster cut on us.
Number 10, Baron Blood. Number 9 is Galactus. Number 8 is Venom. Number 7 is the Grim Reaper. Number 6 is Sinestro. Number 5 is Kid Miracle Man. Number 4 is Norman Osborn. 3 is Doctor Doom. 2 is Ultron. And 1, anybody want to guess? Anybody?
My guess was Ultron, so...
Kang.
Kang?
Kang the Conqueror.
Kang is your favorite?
Yep.
Okay.
He was in the first... He was Ramatut in the first issue of Fantastic Four I read. Then he was a Mortis later on.
I thought. Yeah, I was like, isn't he a Mortis?
He's all over.
Yeah, he's all throughout the book.
He's in Young Avengers.
Yep.
Yeah, there's like little Kid Kang in Young Avengers. It's great.
First or second villain in the Uncanny Avengers when they made it like X-Men and Avengers in the same group was Kang.
Yep.
Was Kang in that book too. So awesome.
All right. 10, Fing Fang Foom. 9, The Shade. 8, MODOK. He's awesome. How do you guys not have MODOK? I'm going to say this wrong, but it's the guy from The Watchmen, the
Ozymandias.
Ozymandias. Okay. Vandal Savage.
Butchered him in Legends of Tomorrow.
Yes, they did.
4's Doctor Doom. Well, actually, 5's Doctor Doom, excuse me. 4's Cyborg Superman. 3, I'm counting it as the same thing. Sinestro Parallax. 2, Porcupine.
I knew it.
I knew Porcupine was going to be in the top 3 somewhere.
1, The Adversary from Fables.
Wow.
Nice.
Okay.
That was the first bad guy. I mean, I've read long before Fables, but that was the first bad guy. I'm like, please get this guy. You know, I was excited to read each issue just so they could get him.
Mm-hmm.
And it just left an impact on me. So
I think the hardest one I had was picking Kid Miracle Man over Terra from the New Mutant or New Teen Titans.
Yeah.
Because she was an evil little bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus. You ever read that?
No.
Oh my God. She infiltrates.
Is that Judas Contract, right?
Yeah. She infiltrates the New Teen Titans and becomes a member and becomes like one of their friends.
Oh,
and she's actually working for Deathstroke. And she
she turns on him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's and it's emotional. You're just like, oh my God.
Now, my 3 Castoffs, I only had 3. We're not going to make Nick do his 9 million. But I had Mystique, Deathstroke, and Shredder.
Mine, I had Venom. I put Mandarin in over Venom because they kind of bastardized Venom here recently. He's not the Venom when I first started reading Spider-Man. You know, they made him a good guy, then they made him, you know, it's just... So, yeah, he was really my only cast-off. And I tried not to go all X-Men on my list.
Thank you for thinking outside the box.
That's what we should do. We should do a top 10 list that is not involving Marvel at all.
We could. We should.
It's fine. I'll be like, But that's okay, because I'll do it. What were your cast-offs, Nick?
Oh, mine?
Just a few.
Oh, all right. So, Scourge, Apocalypse, Bane, Zod, Dr. Octopus, Kingpin, Catwoman, Mystique, Ra's al Ghul, Harley Quinn, Ozymandias, Thanos, Darkseid, Red Skull, Joker, Prometheus, Dr. Sivana, The Dominators, Unicorn, Baron Mordo, Two-Face, Juggernaut, Bullseye, Bizarro, Captain Cold, Eobard Thawne, Cyborg Superman, Gorilla Grodd, Mandarin, The Sentinels, Shredder, Baron Zemo, Mongol, Sabretooth, Doomsday, Mephisto, Anti-Monitor, Cassandra Nova, Penguin, Dr. Light, Mysterio, Extant, the Grand Director, Metallo, Kraven the Hunter, Abomination, Sebastian Saw, Dormammu, Scarecrow, Riddler, Amanda Waller, Hobgoblin, Parasite, Lizard, Leader, Poison Ivy, Mr. Freeze, William Stryker, Thunderbolt Ross, Sandman, Clayface, the Saint of Killers, Magog, Proteus, High Evolutionary, Lady Deathstrike, Electro, Grendel, Mastermind, Dread Knight, and Arnim Zola.
Could you give me that fifth one again, please? No, I'm kidding.
Dr. Octopus. That didn't take too long.
No, it didn't.
All right, and then I cut it down to
list number 2.
I think my most hoity-toity one was Kid Miracle Man.
Neither of you had Luthor in there, right?
Nope.
He's been tainted.
I didn't have any Batman villains either.
Bane, they always fuck Bane up.
Yeah.
They screw Lex Luthor up in TV shows and movies. Yeah, so that's why I didn't pick him. He's always different.
Yeah.
There's so many incarnations of Lex Luthor. It's like, which one do you pick?
Yeah.
The Smallville one, the Superboy Lex Luthor.
Dumpling. Come on now, Dumpling. You can't pick anything from Smallville. Come on now.
Of all this Lex Luthors, I would pick the one from Smallville.
The one from, yeah.
I know with Bane, Tom King's been doing a really good job with him on the new Batman series. They actually make him do a lot more psychological warfare type.
Oh, so he's smart again.
Yeah.
They forgot that he was super smart.
Bane.
Yeah.
He's not just a blunt instrument.
Not Batman and Robin Bane. There's your appearance. Yay.
Yep.
All right. We got any other news, notes, comments, concerns?
Anything?
No?
No. All right, guys. Well, you can follow us on Twitter at the It's Too Wordy 1. You can send us an email at it's too wordy comicbookpodcast@yahoo.com. And if you like what you hear, you want to hear, you know.
Where are you going with this?
I don't know. I had something in my head. Just leave us a comment.
There's a list you want to check out. Let us know.
Yeah,
if there's a character you want to hear about, tell us.
Yeah. You can give us a little bit of your loot. Help us make the show better at our Patreon page, which will be in the show notes. Other than that, have fun. Read more comics. This has been Kirk.
Nick.
Ryan.
Catch you later.
Bye.
In the near future, Doc Terror and his cyborg companion hacker unleash their forces to conquer Earth. Only one force can stop this evil, a handful of brave men. In specially created exobrains, they can be transported anywhere. To fuse with incredible assault weapon systems, beamed down from the space station Skyvault. Becoming man and machine, power extreme. Max Ray, brilliant sea operations commander. Jake Rockwell, rugged land operations specialist. Ace McCloud, daring air operations expert. Whatever the challenge, they are ready. The Centurions.